Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I spent all damn day long yesterday, on the day of his release, experimenting with all the comps and synergies I thought would be best for him. We learned a great deal of information that, of course, we're going to share with you today. I have two showcases prepared for you. We'll go over all the mechanical intricacies we learned, as we normally do. I also want to update my tier list and show you what changed after his release, because I know you're probably curious about that. Did anything change? We did update the tier list a little bit. The thing about Dr. Ratio that I found interesting, that's a bit weird, because you don't really have this with some of the other characters. His performance with the sustainer and running the triple buff compositions where you're running 3 buffers, his performance from running a sustainer to sustainless compositions like that it's a big difference. Like, he goes from doing utterly disgusting damage to doing balanced 5-star damage with the sustainer. And that's something you want to consider, right? Because when you run the triple buffer comps, they can be incredibly impractical depending on the scenario, or they can be very fluid and consistent. But in this current rotation, because we're dealing with Kafka, who can charm one of your characters, the triple buff composition is just incredibly impractical. There's times where I run sustainless comps and they're consistent. It's not even impractical, like, they're just consistent. But because of Kafka's charm, running the triple buff comps are just impractical. So I want to get some more scenarios of the MOC. I'm curious to see what the format's going to look like when they drop the next MOC. Because of this one, I couldn't get a good feel whether I could present triple buff compositions to you. I'm going to show you some damage that's gonna like blow you out the water for the triple buff composition, but it's not practical because you have to reset 18 times and pray that Kafka charms the right person. It's just like, I can't show that to you and say, yeah, run this, it's gonna work. You know, it's really just like big numbers, but then you get clapped when you go to Kafka. Anyways, I want to show you the tier list update. I then want to get into some showcases, and I want to talk about what works on Dr. Ratio the best based off the experiments I've conducted. Let's get into it. Okay, so one, I just want to go over some things with the tier list before we get into all the other stuff. What changed? I'll be honest with you. After running Dr. Ratio with Ranmei, Silverwolf, Pella, Scooby-Doo, I didn't run her with Fu Xuan because it wasn't necessary, but I did run her with Topaz, Bronya, Ting Yun, Welt, Luka. Did not run her with her because MOC Floor doesn't have fire synergy. Did not use him either. He could be better. I did use him, didn't use her. And I did use Yukong, did not use her. Y'all know I like trolling Silve fans. With that information now available to you, knowing who I used, Yukong was clunky and lackluster with him. She's just weird with him. I tried to do the mono comp. The problem with the mono composition is Ranmei meta is here. I don't care what nobody says. She is literally the best support character in the entirety of the game today. The shield breaking is just become so damn strong, and it's become very prevalent. Like, when you going against these MOC Floor 12 monsters, they have so much shield, it is ridiculous. And having Ranmei give you a 50% weakness break efficiency, from what I've experimented, has just been a cut above the rest in terms of value. It's been ridiculous. So she is the best character in the game, not only for Dr. Ratio, but for everybody. Y'all heard me say this, but for Ratio, I am not kidding. I think he's unplayable without Ranmei, in my personal opinion. And y'all comment down below if you disagree. I literally cannot play him without her because she just makes him so much better in all avenues. Weakness break efficiency, all type pin. If you have her E1, defense ignore, and the outright damage bonus, plus what she does when he breaks shields, her damage on top of his. It has been so crazy. Like, I will not run my Ratio without her. I'm serious. So that's my feedback. I think she's literally best in slot. That changed. I didn't think that initially. I mean, I thought she was best in slot, but I had her I think right here or something. Best in slot, in my personal opinion. Silverwolf, she's definitely performing, but I'm disappointed because I ran Pella with Dr. Ratio and got the same cycle clearance. I got 3 cycle clears with Silverwolf with a little bit faster, and then I got 3 cycle clears with Pella with the sustainer on the team, right? We were running Scooby-Doo with Pella, Ranmei, and Ratio, and then I swapped out Pella for Silverwolf. got like a smidgen faster time with Silverwolf, but pretty much performing on the same level. And that's a freaking 4-star character, man, versus a limited 5-star character. So Silverwolf's real value comes out if you unlock her E1, because then she could spam ult and deal more damage while keep uptime on multiple units with the defensive shred. But like having to do an E1 on a character just to separate themselves from a 4-star is just ridiculous. So for that matter, I'm putting Pella in front of Silverwolf. Silverwolf disappointed me. I'm not gonna cap. But she's still good. It just pisses me off with the context I just provided. Scooby-Doo, literally just as good as I said she was gonna be. She's better than Fu Xuan for Dr. Ratio by a mile, until Sparkle comes out and you can run the mono comp. But then you're gonna run into the same problem as the mono imaginary comp. No Ron May means shields are incredibly hard to get down with this new form of content that they're doing. So you might, even then in that regard, Scooby-Doo still might shit on her. People who don't own Scooby-Doo don't understand the value. I'm telling you, this girl is so real, bro. Like the defense reduction, so that your attack reduction on the enemy so they can't deal damage to you, plus as a debuff, the energy recharge to the whole team, the 40% attack boost to the whole team, it makes your team strong as hell. And her cleanse is probably the most underrated shit. She fully counters the shit out of Kafka. She full counters Kafka. So Kafka charms your character, brings him to the front, and then I'm not getting no reaction if you have Scooby-Doo on the team. She just cleanses the shit out of it. So she's been insane with regards to her value. But Fu Xuan is still that bitch. Like there's no debate about that. She's still that bitch. She hasn't come out yet, so we can't discuss. I tried Topaz on floor 12, and they're not even weak to fire, and I still saw the insane value. So she moved up from great to best in slot. To be honest, I was always like battling whether she'd be down here, up there. We'll really see the value when we have a MOC floor 12 where they're weak to both fire and imaginary. But she moved up to best in slot because she was performing well, even though I didn't even have a fire weakness on the enemy, which was nice. Bronya, I had her initially in best in slot. Now I have her in great. Why? Bronya performed horrible with the sustainer, right? When I had to run a healer, Bronya performed horrible. She was clunky, ran out of skill points, just wasn't a pleasant experience. Bronya performed better than anybody in the game when I ran the triple buffer composition. But you kept running into the Kafka get like charmed, and it was like, again, you had to rely on RNG. Oh, please land on the Ron May, or please land on this character. So you can't use that as a means to say she's best in slot, because once I put a sustainer on the comp, I shit you not, the value of Bronya just went down the drain. I'm not gonna run Bronya over my Ron May with a sustainer on the comp. It's just not happening. No chance in hell. I'm not gonna run Bronya over my Pella. No chance in hell. That defensive shred plus the debuffs, you just can't do it. Not with Ratio. Not with Ratio. Not when it comes to Ratio, because he needs them damn debuffs desperately to land the 50% damage bonus, to have the guarantee to his follow-up attack. It's too important. So she is great unless you run sustainless compositions, which literally less than probably 1% of the community does. And most people that do it, they only upload the shit they did. They don't show you that they did numerous retries, and there's RNG revolved. There's just a lot. The same thing was the experience I got with Ting Yun. Sustainless comp, broken for damage, for ratio, but sustainer, you're not gonna replace Ron May with Ting Yun. You're just not. She's just a cut above her, miles above both her and Bronya, and with a sustainer on the team. So that's why they're below, and that's the experiment and the results that I got from testing all these comps out. Moving on though, who else do we? Oh, Welt. Well, sustainless comp, good character, but you have to auto attack with them the whole time to build skill points. But outside of the sustainless comp, yeah, lackluster. But sustainless, you can do it, and he can be like, y'all seen my Welt showcases. He can literally do that on floor 12, and you'll get through it with a 2-cycle clear with Welt. But again, outside of that, it's just not gonna happen. Luka, he's in one of the showcases I showed you. I was tempted to put Luka up here, and honestly, he might very well be up there. The only reason I don't put him up there is he's literally only good if they're weak to the physical element. That's it. And that's why I put him down here, because if they're not weak to the physical element, Luka's useless. If they're weak to the physical element, I'm not exaggerating. You'll see in the showcase, this dude is so goddamn cracked. And he just, when Kafka sees Luka, she runs the other direction. Like, bro is a menace against Kafka. Those who watched my video the other day when I went in Golden Gears and one-tapped it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for the sake of just universally where his value is, yeah, I put him probably right here, right next to Whelp. So everybody else I don't really need to talk to you about. I just wanted to make sure y'all saw those are my now new thoughts after his release and doing all the experimenting that I've done with these characters. So now let's get into the showcases. Okay, this is gonna be the comp I actually told y'all about before her release that I thought would be best in slot for. I do think it's best in slot with regards to running as sustainer. But I'm not going to show you both Silverwolf and Pella's performance because it's literally the same comp. You're just replacing the debuffer. So this comp will represent both Silverwolf and Pella because they both got the same cycles, with Silverwolf getting a little bit faster clear. I'm just not, it's just like a waste of time for me to show you that. It's pretty much the same showcase, you know what I mean? But then second showcase is going to be with Luka, and we're not even running a healer. So let's go ahead and get into it. We debuff with Scooby-Doo. Then we use, Ranmei technique into opening up with Silverwolf. Okay, so they already got a number of debuffs on their head. 3 debuffs, 3 debuffs. We spam Ranmei skill again because we're not rocking an ER rope. Plus our light cone is not S5, the light cone that gives you energy every time you do an auto. So we have to bust skill 2 times. We're able to combat this by running 4-piece healing set on Scooby-Doo, which gives us an additional skill point going into battle. I just want to make sure that's pretty important, details to know. But we're going to apply debuff on him with Silverwolf. Quantum's now on him. Again, Ranmei's already showing her value because I'll do so much more shield breaking damage thanks to having Ranmei activate her ability. We're doing a ton of shield breaking damage here. Opening up with like, what was that? I think that was 70,000 with ratio. But see, here's the problem with Silverwolf versus Pella. Silverwolf has not ulted anyone. She has not put anybody's defense down. So because of this, my Dr. Ratio's damage is lackluster. With Pella, all of them would have had defensive down. You would have did way more damage. But on the other end of the spectrum, Silverwolf does. I'm running Crit Wolf thanks to Ranmei actually giving her the bonuses to allow her to deal damage. You can run Break Effect too, but there's other things that Silverwolf does that Pella doesn't do. It's so funny. I mean, you'll just notice it throughout the playthrough. But right here, boom. Makes him weak to quantum. That's a 50% gamble. Even if it doesn't land on quantum, it doesn't matter. I tested both. If it would have landed on ice, which is Ranmei, it still wouldn't have made a difference. It is like, it's like smidgen more value, but you still get the same clear time basically. So right here, we ended up ulting on this guy, I believe. Yeah, to defensive shred him down. He has like 80k more HP than the target on the left. I looked it up. He has 80,000 more HP. So I'm always like debating which one I want to break, but it doesn't really matter. So that's 97,000 damage. There was a crit in there plus Ranmei's break, which is nice. All right, we auto him, and then Ratio is going to go ahead and clean this up. He doesn't kill him quite, but he comes close to it. All right, so that's 37 into an 82. You see the difference with the defensive shred? He went from dealing 70k damage to doing 82 plus 30, pretty much like almost 120,000 damage. And then we break his shield so that he can't shoot anybody with the arrow, right? So that's 78,000 on his head. And then now we're gonna just work on this person by triggering Dr. Ratio's ult passive. He dies to the dot from Silverwolf. And that's a crit wolf too. He still got clapped. Another one follow up from Ratio. Now we've run out of her buff, which is not good. So we have to activate her ability early just to get the buff activated again so that when we go into the next cycle, we're ready to rock and roll. But you see Ratio cleaned all that stuff up. But this is what I want to talk to you guys about just real quick. And you can watch while I'm talking. Ratio with the sustainer is not broken by any means. He's a solid 5-star character. You can expect anywhere from a 2 to 4 cycle clear with him with a sustainer. But sustainless comps, he can 0 cycle like that if he doesn't get charmed, or you're not dealing with any bullshit like that. it's a massive damage increase with sustainless compositions, whereas with the sustainer composition, his performance goes down considerably, but it's still way more than enough to clear all content in the game. Like, this is a 3-cycle clear here, but you know, you can get a 2-cycle clear too as well. It just depends on, you know, like changing a couple of things up, but that's 98,000 damage. I also like showing you guys realistic practical showcases. Like, for the most part, I'm gonna get a 3-cycle clear with this team all the time, and I have ratio signature light cone, so that should tell you his performance with a sustainer is just kind of it's balanced, you know, mid, I guess, if you want to me to be completely honest with you guys. Okay, so yeah, we're basically working on getting her shield down. Again, this is where I said where Ranmei's value comes in, because getting those shield down is incredibly important to making sure you don't only take damage, but you deal way more damage as well. All right, so we're gonna break her shield with ratio. Unfortunately, right here, as you can see, Ranmei's buff is down again, which is that's massive for damage increase, but it's down right now. So I can't tell you how much I slept on her signature light cone. Her signature light cone giving 10 energy back to the party going into each cycle to cycle is so massive. But I mean, dude, it's all pay to win, right? Can't be that serious. All right, so Silverwolf 58,000 on her head. Then Ranmei buff kicks in, doesn't even let her go. And then I think Ratio go ahead and he's just gonna finish this off. But look at all those buffs. That's 42k into 117k. Look at all those buffs on her head. Again, that's the things that Silverwolf does that Pella just doesn't do, right? So it enables Ratio to just pop off. Plus Silverwolf critting is a lot of damage. But we'll go ahead and go over these builds so you guys can see the results of this. But I can't wait to show you all the damage difference with the Sustainless comp. That's what's nuts. So Scooby-Doo, she's got 137 speed with 4894. She's rocking the Abundance Light Cone. I'm just going through so you guys could see everyone's spears and light cones real quick, but we go over the builds, don't worry. We got a full 4-piece healing set. We needed that because our Ranmei's wonky ass build. Rocking effect hit rate body. You don't have to do this, but I was lacking effect hit rate. Plus my belief on healers is do what you can get away with. What I mean is, don't maximize heals, only give them the heals required to get you through the battle. So if I can get away with an effect hit rate body without running outgoing healing, I'm gonna do so, because that's gonna land the debuffs. She's HP and an energy recharge, and then she's E0. Going to Ranmei, she's E1. I'm doing 200% speed, so this goes fast. She's S2. If this was S5, it would fix my problem of having to activate skill twice, but it's not. I got an S2, so that's what I have to deal with, which is annoying. 999. Relics, I'm rocking slow Ranmei, where she only has 120 speed, but then she still goes first thanks to the sprightly Von Wax set. That was to try to increase uptime on her ult, but it still ended up being wonky because it took me too long to clear cycles. She's rocking a attack percent boot, which is horrible. You want to rock defense or HP if you're going to do slow. That's all I had. And then she's got a bunch of defense and then a break effect. Rope. That's my Silverwolf. It's full-blown DPS Silverwolf. She's 899. She can get stronger, obviously. And then she's 76 over 136.8 with her free-to-play light cone. This is my Ratio. I got his signature light cone, which is why I told y'all, like, he's performing mid with the sustainer, because I have his signature light cone. My blade 0 cycles with the sustainer, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean Dr. Ratio is bad. That just means with the sustainer his performance is a bit lackluster. But Sustainless, way stronger than a number of units in this game. Sustainless, I would honestly say he's without a shadow of a doubt meta and one of the strongest units in the entirety of the game. Sustainless, this dude is absurdly strong. 9, 7, and 6 were investment right there. And then we're rocking crit damage speed. And that's the other problem too. My Ratio has an attack percent sphere, which is cringe. But what can I do, man? That's what I have. But I'll be honest, even if I gave him the imaginary sphere, it wouldn't be outrageously higher performance with this composition. It really wouldn't. It'd be higher performance, but nothing like, oh my God, that's 40k more on each skill hit, you know? So it's not that big of a deal. You can definitely get away with an attack percent rope. All right, so next composition is going to be with Luka, and we're not even running a sustainer, and it's actually practical because Luka and Ratio deal so much breakness that the freaking units just don't get a chance to do anything. They're just breaking the hell out of shields. You're gonna see Kafka literally gets obliterated, man. In this comp with more investment, I shit you not, can one cycle. I got a 2 cycle, it can definitely 1 cycle, no question. I wouldn't even put a 0 cycle past it. You just gotta know exactly what you're doing. But that's what I'm saying. Look at this guy's shield over here on the left. Both of their shields, look at both of their shields already. They're already almost entirely gone, which is insane. All right, so we break. This was a setup to make sure Ronman specifically was gonna break that guy's shield because her break effect is so ridiculously high. Look at this. Oh, I gotta wait, that's right. But I speed to my team to ensure that she was the one that got that break. That's 120K from a goddamn Harmony support unit. Bro, that's crazy, man. But yeah, Ratio does some hits to get him down. That's 40 plus another 85. That's 125,000 damage. Look at this though, fellas. You ready for the real MVP? This isn't a Dr. Ratio showcase. This is a Luka showcase. I fooled you. Look at this right here. God damn, man. Oh my God. So the reason Luka does that much damage: 1, bleed dot's the strongest break dot in the entirety of the game. 2, I'm running him full blown break effect. 3, Pella and Ron May. That's why. Pella literally obliterates all their defense. Ron May E1 obliterates their defense further. And then Luka comes in with the cleanup. Nobody's defense is up. That's GG's on a break effect Luka. And the same concept occurs to Kafka, which you're going to find out very quick. So we clean these two up real quick. He's dead from the bleed dot. Overkill. Ron May needs to re-up her buff. We ran out. Right here, I wanted to auto attack with Ratio, but I didn't want to risk it. It's cringe. I probably could have killed the guy with between him and Luka, but again, it wasn't worth the risk for me. So we went ahead and used his scale just to ensure the person was dead. And if you kill them, oh, that sucks. If you kill them with Ratio skill, he will follow up into the next cycle. He'll follow up one of them. It didn't proc though, as you saw. I got unlucky. But right here, it's very important. So we have to get Kafka's shield down, and Kafka has an abnormally large shield. So we had to pull out all the stops to ensure that her shield was down and that Luka broke it before anything could happen. The other value here is Ratio. Ratio's technique still showing its value into this cycle. Notice they both start off slowed, which enables me to do all this before they can do anything. It's so important because otherwise I get charmed by Kafka. So Ratio's technique, slowing them down so that they can't go first, we can. That's the first thing that's important. Ulting her with Ratio, second thing that's important. Get his shield down. Now I'm gonna defensive shred them with Pella, bringing her defense down, right? Watch this, boom. 2 defenses got on her, right? Because we're rocking that light cone on Pella that gets their defense down further, which will show you the builds. But now Ratio is gonna follow up his first attack, boom, 89K, right? So important, every bit of this counts. Finally, Pella doesn't have to hit her. She can hit the other target to get his defense, his shield down a little bit more. And then now Ratio is going to use his skill, get her shield down further, right? Follow up, bang. Finally, Luka can, now you can enjoy the Luka show, the real MVP of this. But like I said, it's a collective effort. Him and Ratio deal so much shield toughness that they're just insane as a duo against somebody who's weak to both imaginary and physical. So look at this. I'm telling you, this is disgusting. It's disgusting, guys. Boom, 173,000 damage. 60K of that came from Ron May. Then Luka puts the 20% debuff. So Ratio gets a multiplicative damage increase thanks to Luka. Pella's already still got defensive shred on her. So that's 173. That's 122 from Ratio, follow up. Then Luka, uppercut. Yeet! Sent that bitch straight to the shadow realm, bro. The damage of these two guys is disgusting. disgusting, bro. This comp blew me out of the water, man. I was like, oh my God, bro. She didn't get a chance to do a damn thing. And the reason I say I can one cycle, right? I can one cycle this, but I need Pella's ult up again, which I can do. You definitely can do with like the right little scenario, the stars align. You can get Pella's ult back up again. You can get Ron May's ult back up again. And I'll be honest with you, Ratio will clean this guy's clock. Ratio will clean this guy's clock with all of those conditions, especially if his ult is just somehow up, you know? I don't feel like going into the details on it. You just gotta trust me. You really can one cycle this shit. But here's the damage right here. No defensive down, boom, 71K, boom, into 109K. You see how easy it is? Another thing is my Ratio only went one time right there, which sucks. But if he goes 2 times, yeah, that guy's done for. So it can happen. Like I said, I can't really gather my thoughts together on it, but it really can happen. You can one cycle this. But this is that showcase, guys. Yeah, we got a 2 cycle here, and then this dude was down for the count. And I can literally replicate this every single time. Not every single time, but probably like 8 times out of 10. So it's definitely practical. It's not really an RNG thing. You just have to know how to break shields with with Dr. Ratio and Luka. And if you know how, you can literally do it 8 times out of 10. And I say 8 times because sometimes you just do a little misplay. You might be able to do it 10 times out of 10 if I'm being honest. But yeah, sent to the Shadow Realm, GG's. All right, so we'll go over the build here real quick, so you guys could see things. Okay, so that's my Pella, 145 speed. She's rocking that light cone. I wish I had it at S5. That'd be so lovely, but it is what it is. Her traces are 10, 10, and 9. She's only level 70, by the way. But I wasn't running her for damage. I was running her just to pull off the debuffs. So whatever we could get on her, and we do so. We gave 10% crit damage to Dr. Ratio and the rest of the team, but it only really matters for Ratio. Effect hit rate's at 60%, 70 when she goes into battle thanks to her passive, and she's rocking the ER rope, of course. We're running the same exact build on Rame that we ran on the last one. She's slow as hell. It's wonky, but I have to work around having an S2 light cone. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I think it's literally the same exact build. Remember though, she was speed tuned in a way to break that first elite mob's shield. So the order of speed is important. Luka, free to play light cone from her to store, 128 speed. He was also speed tuned. He needed to be slower than Dr. Ratio. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, he needed to be slower than Dr. Ratio. And Ron May's going to top off their speed to where they still go twice. But he definitely needed to be slower so that he could be the one to break Kafka's shield. That's 187 break effect going into 207 with Kafka's passive, 33 effect hit rate, which is more than enough to pull off his debuffs. Not more than enough, but enough. And then he's running, yeah, just full-fledged break effect. He's got HP in the sphere, and he's got crit rate right here, which is utterly useless on him. I just threw that in there just because that was all I could use on him, because Ron May's rocking my shit. But generally what I do on my Luka, I don't give a damn about his regular dot. I put defense there and HP there. I build him like Ron May. Just make him tanky. He only needs to break shields. Who gives a damn about his attack percent? And yeah, he's E6. Finally, Ratio, same exact build. Oh, right here I took him up a little bit. Now he's crowned on this follow-up, which is really all you need. And Eidolon's E0. Okay, yep, that's gonna wrap all that up, you guys. And again, I'd like to just give you some overall thoughts. Ratio as a I still gotta, never mind, I still gotta show you the Sustainless comp, then we'll wrap this up. I forgot about that. But Ratio, he's a 2 to 3 cycle clear with Sustainer on the team. Sustainless comp, triple buffer, bro, is literally meta. He's one of the most disgusting units I've ever seen. So let's pull that up real quick, because I almost forgot. Okay, so this is with Ting Yun, Ranmei, and Pella, and you can do the same type of ordeal with Bronya as well. But either Bronya or Ting Yun as the final buffer. Watch Dr. Ratio's damage. It is absolutely atrocious, bro. This is an E0 S1 Dr. Ratio. So we buff him up with Ting Yun as we normally do with all our Ting Yun showcases. Give him the benediction buff, so he's got a massive damage bonus already. Ranmei activates her damage bonus, so now he has everything from Ranmei already activated. And finally, Pella hits this man with defensive shred, which is 3 defenses on his head. Watch this Dr. Ratio, man. This shit is nuts, dude. All right, so 131k, 140k. We're already at 270,000 damage. We're already at 270,000 damage. He only attacked one time. Now we drop a pillar on this guy's head. 270 plus 110. We're at 380,000 damage, guys. All right. This is how disgusting ratio is in the triple sustainless comp. 20k follow up. All right. So what were we at? We're at what? At 380 plus another 140. So 480, 520, 520,000 damage is what ratio is at right now. 520k, keep that in mind. I don't know what I was waiting on here, probably Christmas. 520k, 640k. Yep, that's ratio with the triple stainless comp. 640k. I can't keep up with this. 720,000 damage. And then now 870,000. This man almost did 1 million damage at E0 S1. All right, but the problem is you come into this next cycle here and she charms one of your units and they get sent to the shadow realm, which is a real issue. I got clapped there because Kafka charmed somebody I didn't want her to charm, but you see what I'm saying. The damage he does from sustainer to sustainless, it is the most ridiculous shit I've seen in the game. His damage is like higher than anybody else's damage I've seen, like by far. Higher than Jing Liu, higher than Biber Lune. But the problem is he only hits one target, that's a problem. And then if you're running him against situations like Kafka, somebody gets charmed, it's GG's. So that's everything I've learned for Dr. Ratio. You guys comment down below and let me know your thoughts. As always, I had a joy making the video. Peace, love, and happiness. Catch you on the flip side.